Hey listeners, welcome back to Subculture After Dark. Well, our night of new music continues with another new track. This is Burn With Me from Revoid, and we actually thought we would get Jack and Dale from the band on the phone to chat a little bit about this brand new track. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, good day. Thanks for having us.
Now, guys, tell us a little bit about this brand new track. What are our listeners about to experience when they listen to this track, and how did it come into being?
I guess outrightly, it's probably the heaviest track we have on offers so far. That's going to be immediately obvious once that track kicks in. Give it about 4 seconds and your socks will be across the room. Jack was probably the one who brought this together. I think he brought me a chorus melody and started writing a bit of a song around it, and I just fleshed it out a bit more. So I think, what was going through your head when you made it?
Just like sort of Blade Runner vibes, like,
yeah,
heavy industrial kind of music with like that techno element to it.
Mm.
So Dale, this track as well, of course, also looks at abuse and self-sacrifice and frustration. There's some pretty deep topics. Tell us a little bit about how you put the lyrics together for this one.
Yeah, 100%. It's a topic that's pretty close to home. It's a lot about, experience and putting in way more effort into people than you ever get back. And, we're in a culture today where it is like there's a lot of selfish connotation in everyone's actions and a lot of, I guess, ignorance to the fact of how your actions end up affecting someone else. Everyone's got needs at the end of the day, but I guess I really hope that everyone would have a bit more perspective, but that is often not the case. So Burn With Me showcases a lot of the frustration that goes into interactions and indeed relationships that are like that take on that sort of those sorts of traits, really.
Jack, you mentioned there that there was a bit of a Blade Runner kind of vibe in there, but this has ended up being like your heaviest track. Was it always supposed to be this heavy when you first got that first ideas for the riffs?
No, not really. It actually started off with the chorus part of the song, like the melodic part of the song, and then I guess we kind of wanted to create our heaviest song to date. So that's kind of where the idea for that came from.
Jack, was that something you talked about, like doing the heaviest track to date? It sounds like it was something that you guys had talked about.
Yeah, we did at the time.
I think we always, we're trying to push ourselves as much as we can as a band, and, whether that goes towards a pop sound or towards a heavier sound, we're all about extremes as much as we can in our genre. So, I guess Burn With Me just reflects of the lower end of everything, and we'll see what comes out soon. We might bring you something that's a little bit more the opposite. We shall see.
Definitely. Dale, there's also an amazing video clip to this track as well that Colin Jeffs put together. What was your first thoughts when you saw that video clip?
It honestly looks fantastic. Colin, we're so proud to be able to work with Colin. He's just such a good member of our team, and really, he brought new life into our imagination and our visions. And yeah, the minute I brought him this song, we're like, hey man, we want to do a video. This one's about, it's got a lot of fire visualization into it. He's like, I want to burn a car. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'll sort that out for you, no worries. So I think I was on the train coming home from work, and I'm like, right, I'll just start rounding up all the details I need, booking everything that we need, and yeah, it eventually came together into something I think objectively is quite magnificent in scale.
Definitely. Jack, you guys have done so much in such a small amount of time, and you've got amazing plays on Spotify and things like that. Do you guys feel any pressure these days when you sit down to work on music?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. I think it's more the case that it's pressure we're probably putting on ourselves.
Yep.
Like most of the time, it's not really coming. We don't feel like it's coming from the fans. It's mainly us to always better ourselves, and we're always trying to make sure our music is better than the last thing we put out.
Yeah. How do you get through that? I know a lot of artists who find themselves in that kind of area where they'll work on something and they'll throw it out because they think it's not good enough. How do you get through that though, personally?
There's a lot of throwing out
100%, yeah.
involved. No, it's usually like a group participation, sort of. Like it's kind of important that we do it together, and there's a lot of like sort of back and forthing.
Yeah, I think we
decide.
We throw it around quite a bit. Like if we have an idea, and then one person will flesh it out a bit more. Another person may object to something because it sounds a bit too much like this, or it doesn't sound current enough. Like we all grew up through 2010. The peak of metalcore, basically. So It's hard not to like have those ideas come in too strong, or like how far do you want to throw it back, kind of thing. Yeah, like there's a lot of different aspects that go into it, but I think the way we pass these songs around and sort of bounce off each other really helps us keep the balance.
Definitely. Now, guys, you've got an amazing opening slot coming up as well for Dayseeker. Tell us a little bit about that. How much are you guys looking forward to being able to get out there and play before Dayseeker?
Oh, that was the fastest yes we've ever said to a show. Not only are we fans of the band, like we're friends with a Sydney band called Inertia. Like they're good buddies of ours, and we've always wanted to play alongside them. Just to support them and be a part of their, I guess, them as a band. But then to now have to do it underneath Dayseeker. So it's not just Dayseeker, it's Inertia, and it's also Inertia and Dayseeker together. So the pressure's on, and we're scared, but it's fantastic.
We're super excited, but super nervous at the same time.
And what have you guys got planned for the rest of this year, going into next year as well? Are you guys looking to travel interstate and do some shows, work on new music? What have you got coming up?
Always looking to do some interstate stuff. Like we're always itchy to get out of Queensland and do tours, do shows. So we're trying to open up our borders a little bit more, put our names out. Hopefully, Burn With Me's done a lot of the legwork and showed us that we can hit those heavier shows, but we also maintain our diversity. We are looking at releasing another little one-off single later in the year that we might do a few shows about, so look forward to that, maybe around October, September-ish.
Awesome. Well, we would love to see you guys down here in Melbourne at some stage, but for now, we're going to play Burn With Me, on our show. What would you like to say to everybody out there before they take a listen to Burn With Me?
Get ready for heavy Revoid. Thanks for listening, of course, and hope you enjoy it. Look forward to the next stuff.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us tonight. It's been an absolute honour having you on the show. Like I said, we can't wait to see you guys in Melbourne at some stage, but for all of our listeners, we're going to play Burn With Me. Thanks so much, guys.
No worries. Thanks for having us.